on Salvage Hunter's classic cars.
I'm buying this car for all of the wrong reasons.
An Italian design classic causes problems with Drew's vision,
I've gone rust blind.
Yeah, well,
I'm not even looking at the rust.
leaving the boys with an eye-watering bill for bodywork.
Are there any good panels on it at all?
No.
And in search of a quick profit, Paul has a surprise for Drew.
I may have bought something.
You haven't bought a car on your own, have you?
I have.
Drew Pritchard is one of Britain's leading decorative salvage dealers.
Oh, look at that. Now you're talking.
And now he's ventured into the high-risk world of classic cars.
Oh, yes. We'll take it all. Just hand the keys over. The similarity between buying classic cars and antiques, it's all down to good design. That there, right? I love it because it's like... Oh, yes!
Helping Drew turn his passion into profit is Paul Cowland, a car dealer with 25 years of know-how.
As soon as you put perfect paint on this car, it's really going to show that you've got imperfect chrome. Drew has a vision and a dream.
Imagine this as a fine piece of 18th century English furniture, right?
What I try and do is just temper some of his ideas, because ultimately, this is a business and it has to make money.
Together, they'll scour the country for classic cars to buy,
3.5. 3.5?
restore,
That's beautiful.
and sell on.
I think we should put another grand on it, because I think it'll get it easy.
With Drew's eye for design and Paul's extensive motor trade nous, the Oxfordshire workshop is generally home to an interesting range of classics. But a call has just come in about an extremely rare and rather exotic Italian coupe.
We are off to see an incredibly chic car. A car that's pretty much under the radar unless you're a dyed-in-the-wool petrol head. It's a Fiat 130 coupe.
Oh.
Extremely stylish car.
Launched in 1971, the 130 Coupe was Fiat's attempt to break into a luxury car market dominated by brands like Mercedes and Jaguar. It boasted a well-appointed cabin, cosseting ride, and muscular V6 engine. Yet it was the sharp-suited styling by legendary coach builders Pininfarina that really set the 130 Coupe apart. Sadly, good looks didn't equal strong sales, and the 130's propensity to rust means there are now dwindling numbers of this design classic.
These cars now, there's not a lot of them around.
True, we only made about 4,500.
Yeah, how many right-hand drive? I don't know. There'll be a handful. This one is right-hand drive, and it's about 7 grand.
Shall I just call Michael and Dave now? I say, lads, get some welding wire and some sheet steel and cancel any holidays you've got booked.
They did rust.
Honestly, mate.
They did rust.
Remember the old, beautiful little Fiat, the one that was in the Italian job, became effectively the Lada?
Yeah.
So Fiat built that factory for Lada in Russia, and do you know how they got paid?
Don't know.
In Russian steel. And that's why they corroded before your very eyes, often before pre-delivery inspection, because the steel was shocking.
But my heart will be ruling me on this one.
But don't let that sway you. Be brutal, be clinical.
I can't do that.
The boys are on their way to meet car collector Darren Gratt.
I bought the Fiat because it's rare and I've never seen a right-hand drive one. So I decided to pick it up, refurbish it, get it back on the road, but it never happened really.
Hi there.
Hey.
Hello, guys.
Drew.
Hello there.
Paul.
Nice to meet you,
Nice
Darren.
to meet you.
Cool.
Got some cool stuff, Darren.
Yes.
That's
Old
lovely. Can we
school
have a look at
Brits.
that? That's
Most
lovely.
definitely, yeah.
Pull up at Darren's house, nice place. He's got a lovely Rolls-Royce sat on the driveway. Always a good indication that somebody has got a few quid. They don't tend to buy junk.
But I just think they're just such a nicely proportioned car.
Yeah, yeah.
And you do feel very special when you're driving, don't you?
You're on ceremony when you drive this.
Yeah.
Can we look at the Italian car?
Yeah, most definitely.
Where is
Follow
it?
me.
Yeah.
This way? Wow. Well, that speaks for itself.
What a view. We turn the corner, you look out, there's this beautiful rolling countryside as the perfect backdrop to this beautiful car. Wow.
Have you put it there to sell it to
Yeah,
us?
that's...
Possibly.
Yeah. Any good salesman knows that you're sold within the first 30 seconds, really. And I have to be honest, I was. What a beautiful little car. It's gorgeous. I can't take my eyes off it. Oh, yeah.
The wheels, everything about it. Such a great looking car, isn't it?
I like the colour.
I love the colour.
I like the colour a lot. Is this the original colour?
It's the original colour, original interior.
Wow.
Thank you so much for blue crushed velour. It just works, doesn't it? I mean, wow. You open that door, you're like, wow, I'm back to the 70s. Let's stick some disco in. It's lovely. It's just handsome, you know? You want to drive that, nice suit on, pair of Ray-Bans on, looking the daddy in that. That is a fantastic motor. There's so many tiny styling cues all over the car. The little dip down the centre of the bonnet, the elongated headlamps, and then that very pronounced rear pillar. You know, the very long door. All of those things have come to create this one piece. And I can look at that car and there's not a line out of place.
But while Drew's waxing lyrical about design, Paul's worrying about build quality.
I just see rust everywhere, because every rust bubble has come through, so you can see where they all are. This car is rusty. It's rusty in places we can see, and I can guarantee when we get it back, it will be rusty in places we cannot see. Some of the holes under here are significant. Everywhere on this floor, you've got these sizable holes, and this has had a lot of work, and it needs a bit more. There's another hole there.
I can't see any holes.
Shush you.
I can see one drainage hole for water.
Yeah, it's got a lot of drainage holes, Drew. Yeah, loads of them. There isn't one panel that isn't cauliflowering, blistering, splitting. I can easily see 3 or 4 grand's worth of paint, and to get to that point, 5, 6 grand's worth of bodywork.
Paul is looking around the car, basically ruining my day now. So he's pointing out to me the very obvious work that needs doing. I don't want to think about that. I'm remaining positive. I've fallen in love with it. I've gone rust blind.
Yeah, well,
I'm not even looking at the rust.
But it's not just the rusty bodywork that's troubling Paul.
Is that headlamp burst as well?
Well, I don't know, but it's a Corello headlamp that they only made for this car, and the reflector's done, look. It's properly done if you look inside. We're going to have to get them either re-silvered, or we're going to need to find 2 new right-hand drive Corello headlights. Good luck with that.
Look at in here. Lovely.
It is cool. It's such a nice place to be, isn't it?
I'm sold.
Yeah, but
We're buying it.
But not all of the interior has held up so well.
these little handles, which are so cute, look, they've both snapped at some point and somebody's riveted them together. Quality bodge. Could be small, but it probably isn't.
It may not have lost its good looks, but this 50-year-old car is in extremely poor condition.
This is a beautiful car, I totally agree. It could be an amazing car, but in between those two moments in time is a world of pain, expense, and sheet metal.
I think it's worth it.
He's fallen in love. And the problem when people fall in love is they're not rational anymore, are they? I almost want this to drive like a bag of poo, you know. Then that can make it really easy to walk away.
Yeah. Go on, baby, let's do this.
That sounded really happy.
Yeah, it sounds expensive.
It does, doesn't it? Believe me, it's going to be. How does it drive?
What is the Italian for knackered?
I don't know.
Well, we need to find out because, unfortunately, that's what this is. Most of the electrics don't work. The driver's seat's loose.
Something's on fire. Burning Italian electrics?
Something smells like it's on fire. But can I be honest with you? I love this car. Love it.
Well, say you get it for 6 something. I think you're going to spend 10 grand easily on bodywork, trim, and making the outside look pretty, because I don't know what bumpers cost. I've got no idea what those headlights cost, but it's going to be a lot. So I think bank on somewhere between 10 and 12 to shake all the bugs out of this car.
I'm buying this car for all of the wrong reasons. Because it's just utterly charming, beautiful, fabulousness.
Haggle hard, because I need some wiggle room in this, Mr. Pritchard. Hello, mate.
So, guys, what do you think?
They didn't break down, so it's not all bad.
You survived?
Yeah.
It made it back. I do love it. It's deeply flawed in all departments, but letting my heart rule my head. You want 7 grand. I'd love to give you 2, but I know that's not going to wash. So how's 6 grab you?
6.5.
Drew has been seduced by the design genius of a Fiat 130 Coupe.
Oh, yeah.
Such a great-looking car, isn't it?
And although Paul is deeply concerned by its condition,
Some of the holes under here are significant.
they've agreed to take the plunge, but only for the right money.
I'd love to give you 2, but I know that's not going to wash. So how's 6 grab you?
6.5.
Okay, marvellous.
Done.
Thank you. That was bought with heart, not head. Don't do that very often. Such complete perfection in design, and so flawed in its current state.
I think bank manager on speed dial, body shop on speed dial, this is gonna get painful.
And the pain begins as soon as head mechanic Michael gets the car up on the ramp to take a closer look.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
That isn't very good, is it? I mean, these sills have had pieces in. If you look all the way down.
By the way, they haven't even tried to hide that one and like just...
No, it's not been restored. It's just been kept going.
The corrosion is more than skin deep, and Paul decides there's only one high-risk business strategy now available.
Because we've got to put hundreds of hours and thousands of pounds into the car, we have to be brave. There's only one way to make money on this car. If we go for the middle, we won't make any money. I think the future for this car is to make it the best one in the UK and charge top money, huge amount of money for it. I've seen these cars go for late 30s, early 40s, not as nice as this, and that's how we'll make some profit. But between that point and this point is a huge amount of hard work.
With such high ambitions, it's all hands on deck. All major components must be painstakingly removed, reducing the car to an empty body shell. But the giant task of welding and repairing the rotten panels isn't a job Paul can afford to keep in-house.
Problem with cars like this, they take hundreds of hours, they eat up workshop time and stop anything else from going on. And that's the stuff that we need to do day to day, week to week, to keep the money coming in. So there are certain parts of this job we are going to have to outsource.
Ashley Grant earned his stripes in motorsport as a welder and fabricator for legendary rally team ProDrive. These days, he's dedicated to a more noble cause, saving classics from the scrap heap.
I've always liked classic cars, and I've always worked in this trade. I've got a little bit of a motto over here: if you can't buy it, we'll make it. I do enjoy a challenge, yeah. I'll take on anything that's really bad, what anyone else won't take on, I'll do it.
But the Fiat 130 could test all of Ashley's skills. And having had a chance to size up the car, he's ready to give Paul his verdict.
All right, Ashley.
All right, you?
All right, do I dare look? Do I dare look?
Yeah, have a look, yeah.
Are there any good panels on it at all?
No.
Ashley has already made a start.
Oh, there you go, that looks nicer. Wow, look at that. So that's all fresh steel?
Yeah.
Good, you can see.
And today, he's ready to tackle the first major panel.
The next section is to rebuild the back end of this wing where we've got a gap. We're going to make a new panel to fit this section and this section. These are curved, and hopefully it'll fit.
Having measured the gap and hand-cut a fresh piece of steel, Ashley makes fashioning the new panel look deceptively easy.
Now I need to just fold this return up.
That's quite odd, isn't it? 'Cause that's a curve and a fold. What's your skills you're going to use there?
Pair of pliers and hammer.
Fiat 130 coupes were built by Pininfarina themselves, and for Ashley to replicate the exact lines of the original design, he must rely on experience and feel.
Yeah, that's not bad, is it?
No. Got to get the curvature in to follow the door curve now so it fits snugly into the gap.
In this job, there is no substitute for experience. Nothing. And when you watch Ashley, he's taking a panel, he's hand forming it, and that is skill. Because you can't teach that, you have to learn it. And you have to learn it over years and years, and he's got it.
Moment of truth, see if it fits. I'm happy with that. Yeah, that'll weld up lovely now.
You will.
But with this level of craftsmanship required, Ashley reckons the welding could take several weeks, with potential costs running into 5 figures.
It's going to be a big bill, but Ashley has just given me so much confidence. He is the guy to finish this car and finish it, I think, to make it probably the best one in the country. It'll have all fresh steel, perfect panel fit, and no rust. And find me another one that's got that.
While Paul tackles the big problems on the Fiat, Drew is sweating the small stuff.
Now, the door handles on the car were snapped in half, and we can't get them. They're unobtainable. We just can't find any anywhere. I'm sure somebody has got some in a box somewhere, but we can't find that person.
But repairing the original handles is not straightforward. It will take a set of engineering and craft skills so unique. The Drew has had to look outside the automotive industry altogether. From his Yorkshire Dales workshop, former Royal Armouries gunsmith Peter Dyson has been rebuilding the intricate moving parts of antique firearms for over 5 decades.
I was trained initially as an engineer, and I took up gunsmithing in my early 20s. And I've been restoring antique guns and pistols ever since. Hi.
Hello, mate.
Good to meet you.
Thanks for having us.
Come on in. Right, this is a workshop.
Oh, now you're talking. Is this some of your work here?
Oh, yes. That's probably about 1840, 1850.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
When it came, it was broken across there and there. But once it's done and we're satisfied, you won't see that.
That's the brilliant thing about this job, is you get to meet blokes like this. It's working away in sheds, 30, 40 years in a basement of a house in Yorkshire making gun parts.
But a pair of bodged door handles is a new one for Peter.
So, Fiat 130 door handle, and it's been very badly repaired.
It's improvised. I'm not
Bit rough
impressed
and
with it,
ready,
yes. It won't repair.
No.
Because it's cheap metal that we're dealing with, you can't weld it or anything like that. You're left with the problem, really. And I think we need to take this off, use this as a pattern, and then make some more and use a better material than this.
What material will you use on it? Because obviously we'll have it chromed afterwards.
Yeah, well, I think silicon bronze would be the ideal thing here.
Yes. It is good when you go to a time-served craftsman and he's able to pick up that part you've got and go, that's wrong with it. And, of course, it's going to break. So he will make sure that the next one won't. Will that take the turning force from there and all that pull on there for the rod?
Yes, it should do.
That'll all be fine,
Yes,
yeah?
yes, that wouldn't be a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. We'll speak to you very soon.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Replicating the original handles is a complex process, requiring meticulous accuracy at every step.
This is called the pattern, and it's made from the original damaged one to give us a satisfactory mould that we can use for casting.
Having built a box around the pattern, Peter and son Andrew pour in liquid silicone to make a mould.
I'm actually cutting the mould, splitting it into half to get the component out. It's left us with 2 halves of a silicone mould, which we're going to inject and fill with wax.
These pink wax replicas of the door handles will be remade in bronze in a specialised foundry, before being painstakingly hand-finished in Peter and Andrew's workshop.
I've just got to get this filed down so it fits nicely in there.
It's a multi-stage crafting process that adds another £1,000 to the Fiat's already eye-watering bill.
That's all right. That's all finished now. Just ready for plating and then fitting back onto the car. It's good to go.
When there's a bank-breaking restoration in the workshop, Paul's always on the lookout for simpler makeovers to provide easy turnover.
The costs on the Fiat 130 are actually starting to make my head spin. So what I really need is a quick, easy flip that's going to make some instant cash. And through a friend of a friend, there's an SL specialist, Mercedes SL. It's got a lovely car, the right engine, the right year, and I think I could just buy it, turn it around quickly. That's what today's all about.
The Mercedes SL sports car has been around since the 1950s, but it's the 4th generation model launched in 1989 that's on Paul's radar. With powerful engines, a luxurious interior, and a host of cutting-edge gadgets, the SL was an expensive car to buy new. But these days, they're the price of a second-hand hatchback, and Paul reckons now is the time to buy, with one important condition.
I'm not going to tell Drew because if he gets involved, he's going to want to do over-restoration, and we haven't got time or money for that. It's just in, out, shake it all about, money in the till.
Musician and retired horse trainer Carl Burgess is also a passionate Mercedes collector whose hobby has turned into a second career.
Once you have a piece of engineering from one of these cars in your hand, you realise what it took to get to that stage, and that's just one of 5,000 parts. It just blows your mind, really. I built up a parts business to keep my own cars going and obviously selling them on. So I've become a bit of a sort of specialist by default, really.
Carl, nice to meet you.
And you?
I think I'm definitely in the right place.
You are.
Walking through the door at Carl's place and greeting me is just a wonderful selection of 80s and 90s Mercs. Really nice stuff as well.
But Paul's here to see a very specific car.
There you go. Carl and I have pulled back the covers and I could not have asked for it to be in a better spec. I like the colour combination as well.
It's purist. This is how the car first came out.
It's an early 500 SL, so the big, full-fat V8, 4-speed automatic, blue interior, and the best bit is it's the two-tone silver grey. That's the car. Just such a nice-looking thing.
Carl's asking just £6,000 for this 1989 SL, but it's a complex car, so there's lots for Paul to check.
Well, that sounds very happy. Now press a load of buttons and see what works. The first thing you do when you check an old SL is make sure every switch correlates to a function and that function works, because if it doesn't, I guarantee it'll be expensive to fix. So that's a good sign. So the roll bar works, the roof works, so the hydraulic pump's obviously all right. If all of that works, it's a big sigh of relief because I can just take away loads of work out of the to-do list, and so far this car is good.
SLs came with a hardtop for use in the winter, and although Carl has one, it's seen better days.
Oh, a little bit of trim to do, isn't there? Just gone a bit there, and we might need a headliner. Need to re-stick that all back together. The little bits of trim will need to go back in. There's a bit of bubbling in the corner where they always used to go. None of this puts me off, but all of this makes me want to buy it cheaper.
But before Paul thinks about doing a deal, he needs to hit the road.
Back in a bit. It just drives so well. The steering's good, wafts through the gears, there's so much torque in that engine. So what I really want to do is give myself room to tidy the car up, do the hard top, spend 1,500 quid on it. I've then got a car that I can make maybe even £3,000 profit on. The key is not letting Mr. Pritchard go mad. This is a car we need to just tidy and flip and make some money.
And Paul can give himself even more room for profit if he can haggle Carl down from his £6,000 asking price.
Well, you took your time.
I know, it's such a nice car to drive. There's much to love, mate, I have to say. There's an awful lot to love. The engine, the gearbox, the suspension, all perfect.
Good.
But a little bit to do, as you know, I would love to pay £5, if that's possible.
I bet you would. No, 5 wouldn't do.
With costs mounting on the restoration of Drew's Fiat 130 Coupe,
This is actually looking an awful lot more than I thought.
Paul's found an early Mercedes 500 SL, which he thinks might generate some quick profit.
The key is not letting Mr. Pritchard go mad. This is a car we need to just tidy and flip and make some money.
But he needs to get owner Carl down from his £6,000 asking price.
I would love to pay £5, if that's possible.
I bet you would. No, 5 wouldn't do.
I just need to have that bit of wiggle room that should I get back and the worst should happen and just got a bit of love left in it.
So, yeah, that's why it's 6.
Well, you'd like 6, I'd love to get 5. So shall we say 5.5, meet in the middle? Can I be out your hair? You'll never see me again.
Yeah. Cheers.
That's
a
like
good
it.
deal, yeah.
Well, come and write me up then. Come on, let's have a brew and we'll do some paperwork.
Back at the workshop, it's time for Paul to fess up.
Hello, mate.
Hey.
There's no need for that.
Check them bad boys
Gotta
out.
put my sunglasses back on. That's a bit of glare. I'm actually quite glad you've got a bit of a summery look today,
Why?
because I've been out and I may have bought something.
You haven't bought a car on your own, have you?
I have. Wait there.
Oh, R129.
It's cool, isn't it?
That is good. Did somebody take you out shopping?
I did this all by myself.
No.
I did. Really nice, very early one. I think the best colour combination and the two-tone, which I think is the coolest as well.
Oh, yeah. Very underrated.
I think so. And very, very cheap at the moment. I paid $5.5 grand for that.
Get out of town. Has it been to the moon?
No. And it really drives rather well.
When he told me he'd bought a V8, I thought, oh, no. It's some American disaster of a car, because he loves all that stuff. So I was very pleasantly surprised. Design-wise, the car does have that typical Mercedes elegance, but they're a bit brutish as well. And they do build a cracking V8, and that's the combination you've got there. An incredibly usable car that will literally last forever. I mean, I'm tempted, to be honest, chuck a bucket of water over it, whack $1 grand on it, and put it back up for sale.
There you go. Now we're talking. This was the whole point of this flip, basically. It was a cheap and easy car. But the roof needs a really good clean, probably a bit of re-dyeing, actually.
You can just polish money into that, to be honest.
You can. It's a nice car, solid but tatty, and it's all there.
All in all, boy's done good there. He has done well. He's bought a really good car. The hood and the interior just need a really good clean, couple of small repairs. Chuck a bucket of water over it, polish it to death, get it out the door.
Drew's decided to take the car to a company he knows in Shropshire for a thorough freshen up. But after a few miles on the road, it's clear the Merc's interior needs more than a spit and polish.
So this is my first drive of the Mercedes. Outwardly, Paul's done well. Inwardly, putrid. It's absolutely disgusting. I don't really want to touch it. Everything is just filthy. It's like they've had a pub dog living in it. It's horrid.
Fortunately, Drew's on his way to meet Nigel Woodward, whose team at Classic Motor Cars tackles everything from minor detailing to nut and bolt restoration.
So we've been in existence for 26 years. So our chairman had a collection of cars that he needed to look after. So he sort of started the business off as a bit of a hobby business, just to look after those cars. Everybody here is passionate about cars. We live and breathe it, absolutely.
Hello.
Drew.
How you doing?
Welcome to Classic Motor Cars.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
What a place.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, my word. Look at this.
Nigel's team are known for their work on classic Jaguars and are currently working on a very special car.
The last ever SS100 ever built for sale. So
No.
there you are, it might be your lucky day.
I ain't that lucky. Lucky man. First impressions of classic motor cars, well, what can I say? I've seen some amazing garages and workshops in my time. The standard of the cars is world class. Now I'm going to have to show you our rather shabby Mercedes. It's just a little unloved.
It certainly hasn't seen the valet bay for a while, has it?
No.
I think a really good deep clean and really bring it back to life.
So I have no qualms at all about bringing our lowly little Mercedes in here, because they will work on your Morris Oxford or they will work on your lightweight E-Type here, or anything in between.
Dan Brown is one of the firm's detailers and has turned cleaning cars into an art form.
On a scale of 1 to 10 of cars you've done, how bad is this one?
About 56.
That bad?
It's not nice, is it?
No, it's horrible.
Dan's first job is to give the interior an initial clean, and that's not pretty.
Oh my God. Is that dirt?
Dead skin. Yeah, it will be.
It stinks. The floor's sticky, the steering wheel's sticky, everything's just covered in this sort of black goo.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, this is disgusting. Dan, poor guy, he's got to get through all that, but I know we're going to end up with a beautiful interior. This car, we're basically polishing money back into it. You love that. I mean, this is brilliant, just watching you do this. You're loving it, aren't you?
Yeah, really enjoy it.
Genuinely good at this stuff.
Detailing to this standard will cost around £1,300, and for Drew, it's worth every penny.
Oh, look at that. There you go. That's night and day.
Paul wanted to keep costs to a minimum on this car, and there's still the tatty hardtop to deal with.
The headlining has come adrift from the foam and it's hanging down, but one of the issues with it is it's shrunk, so you're always going to come up short is the problem. So we'll make a new liner for it.
Restoring the hardtop will add another £500.
So this car was meant to be, you know, throw a bucket of water over it, give it a service, get it out the door. It's too good for that, to be honest. Paul's bought a really good car to begin with. I'll leave it with you. Thank you very much.
Not at all. Thank
Cheers.
you.
We're going to get back a pristine 500 SL, which is going to sell easy. No problem at all.
And with the restoration of the Fiat 130 Coupe ongoing, it needs to. After weeks of meticulous metalwork, the repairs to the body shell are finally complete, and the car is sent to the spray booth for a fresh coat of its original metallic blue paint. But with one major hurdle overcome, a new budget-busting problem has come to light.
The problem with this Fiat is it's a coach-built, low-volume vehicle, so nothing else fits that car other than the parts that were made for it. Classic example, the headlights. The only thing I can find online, €900 each for refurbished units, €1,800 for the pair.
With every pound critical, Paul needs a new plan of attack. Based in Birmingham's historic jewellery quarter, Cam Lawler runs a restoration studio that specialises in vintage headlamps.
Hello, Cam.
Hello, Paul.
Hi, mate. I'm hoping that you can help me with this. The lenses are okay, but the reflectors look absolutely done. Not in a good way, is it, that?
But I think you can do something with it.
To see what he's dealing with, Cam needs to get the lights apart. Each headlamp consists of two semicircular reflectors designed to maximise light from each bulb.
So that literally is just aluminium foil, isn't it?
Yeah.
Stuck over these pressings.
Yeah.
But both the reflectors and the case they sit in are in a bad way.
That's just starting to disappear, look.
Yeah.
So what can you do with that, mate? Can you make that steel case look a little bit more pretty, do you think?
Yeah, we'll get rid of all that rust and we'll build it up a little more.
Yeah.
And give you something substantial.
Making these headlights shine bright once more will call on all the skills of Cam and his team.
The headlamps and grille on a car, they're its face. And if you've got tired eyes, it makes the car look terrible. Doesn't present very well when you come to sell it. If we can get these lights sparkling, looking brand new, it takes years off the car, presents perfectly, sells more easily. So the crunch question is, Cam,
Yeah.
my fellow Midlander, how much will it cost?
For the pair, £800.
That seems very fair to me. Thank you very much. To import these lights from overseas is £900 each. To repair these lights here in the UK, better than anyone else can do them, is £800 for the pair. That's man maths. That's simple.
Cam gets straight to work rebuilding the badly corroded reflectors. He hand cuts new pieces of steel and brass, and as the shapes are too delicate to weld, Cam must braze them together using an oxyacetylene torch to melt silver into the joints. In the electroplating department, colleague Joe Vella also relies on silver to give the reflectors their shine.
The reason is silver because it's the best reflection properties that you can get from all the metals.
Each of the bulb holders is first cleaned using an electrochemical process.
So we've got an alkaline solution, and you can see it fizzing because of the current that's passing through at the moment. And it's creating gas. The gas is blasting any dirt out.
Then, by dipping the parts into an electrically charged solution of nickel, followed by silver,
Beautiful.
the bulb holders and reflectors are given a gleaming finish. And with the lenses now polished, the finished light is ready to be reassembled. After its deluxe deep clean and trim repair, the Merc is back at the Oxfordshire workshop, where it's getting a fresh new set of indicator lamps. But with a total cost of £2,000, the clean-up job cost £1,000 more than Paul's target spend. And it's Drew's turn to make a confession.
So I'm just off down to the unit to see Paul. Had the Mercedes back. It looks amazing, apparently. I can't wait to see what they've done. But I do also have to get past Paul a rather large bill. Hello, mate.
Hello, mate.
What do you think?
I love it.
You happy with it?
I like the result.
Good,
I'm
isn't
not massively impressed with the bill, but they have done a very good job.
You know about the bill?
I have seen the bill. A little bit on the pricey side from the detailing, but I like what he's done. The bodywork is pretty much perfect now. Luckily, I bought the car so right in the first instance, we were all right with this one. Lovely interior now as well. That smells beautiful, look. And look at that
Oh,
headlining.
it smells like expensive shoes.
I wouldn't know.
The headlining is brilliant. It's actually, I think it's probably better than Mercedes did, and that's saying something. The standard of the work we've had done is extremely high for a cheap car, and it shows.
This car's been very helpful at the moment, and you survive on these. As a business, you survive on these quick flips. You just light the lights and pay the wages.
It looks great. What can you get for it?
Well, car's 5.5, with everything you see, detailing, 2 grand, so 7.5 grand, but I do think that is a shade under 10 grand, that car. It's a V8 Roadster with over 300 horsepower for under 10 grand. Now, find me any other car with a big V8 stuck up the front, all that power, that build quality, the integrity, the badge, everything else, it's going to be more.
In Oxfordshire, to Paul's relief, the Mercedes SL has sold for a healthy £2 grand profit. And having some extra funds in the bank couldn't have come at a better time. The Fiat 130 Coupe is back from the painters and being rebuilt, but the final bills for the bodywork are hefty.
We've now spent £20,000 on this car, on the bodywork, and the paint looks amazing, but I've now got to go all in. I've got to fully commit to this build, because to get that money back, I need to make the rest of the car as good as the paintwork. So I'm not out of the woods yet. There's a long way to go. There's a lot of potential problems still ahead.
To achieve Paul's goal of making this an elite restoration, under the bonnet, every last detail of the engine has been painstakingly refurbished by the talented workshop team. And fresh from Cam's Birmingham studio, the resilvered original headlights are ready to be refitted, along with perfectly replicated door handles from Peter in Yorkshire, and seats that have been re-dyed in the original factory colour. Finally, the car with which Drew fell in love at first sight is ready for him to see again.
I don't think anybody's gone to the lengths that we have. I mean, we're talking nut and bolt rebuild of every single piece of that car. I'm concerned about the money, but there's so many details on this car that I just love. So many just great little bits, particularly the front end. Actually, all of it. I can't lie. The whole car's an absolute masterpiece, to be perfectly honest with you.
Good morning.
Now then, look at that.
It's a feast for the eyes, isn't it?
Wow. Look at that. I'm almost lost for words. What a car. It was beautiful as a wreck. Now it's just a thing of absolute joy. Look at it. Look at it.
So you've got these lush headlights. They are better than new. Correct Cintuato tyres, refurbed wheels.
And this car is very much about those details. We had to think out of the box. Resilvering the headlamps was the only way to go. The door pulls have those recast. It's those details with a car like this that matter.
Then inside, look, your lovely handles.
Oh, what?
All the seats, the originals have been re-dyed, the wood's been tidied up.
God, it's just a wonderful thing, isn't it?
It really is. Look at this, look.
Whoa.
There you go.
Oh, my word. And then you open the engine bay, absolutely staggering. It's an outstanding car with an outstanding restoration. It just needs a new home now.
The big thing on this, as you know, was the bodywork. The bodywork has been...
horrendous.
Well, we paid £6.5 for the car, do you remember?
Yeah.
The total bills of everything, including the car, was up to £36,000.
I'm completely happy with that. A staggering amount of work has gone into it. And I am actually surprised we've only spent £36,000. I know that sounds nuts, but for that standard, it's really remarkable.
This car has forces at every single turn, every aspect from the headlights to the badging to the trim. But I don't mind because we spent more money, we've got a much nicer car. I think it allows us to access that top 1% of the market.
And to reach his target market, Paul's already arranged a special launch event.
If you want to jump in, my friend, I'm going to drive today.
Okay.
Because it represents a lot of money, and I want it to get where we're going in the same shape it's currently in.
Fair enough.
We've got car collectors coming, some journos coming. Just show people what we're all about. Hopefully the word will disseminate in the press, and more importantly, we might even get a collector or an enthusiast with 40 grand to spare.
Oh, it's lovely, isn't it?
Smooth as, mate. It drives like a very young motor car, and I don't hear a squeak, a rattle, apart from your knee, obviously. Was that your hip?
It's my hip.
OK. This is really all about, isn't it, the amazing people that have worked on it. I mean, the bodywork that's been done is just incredible.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable, because there was nothing there.
No.
Right, I'm going to introduce you to some really nice people now, so try and use your big words, don't swear.
Let's do it. I think we'll sell it.
The invitation-only unveiling of the Fiat is taking place at Studio 434 in Potter's Bar, home to one of Europe's largest private collections, with more than 350 cars, many of them rare.
The car lift.
Into the car. This is very exciting.
First job for the boys is to get their precious restoration to the top floor.
Oh, my God.
Is it wrong that the first thing you want to do is a donut?
Selling chairs, selling cars, selling shoes, whatever it is, when you've got something really good, make a spectacle. Look at this.
I know.
Oh, my life.
It looks so nice.
Under these lights, with these people in this building, we're showing it to its full effect. Here you go, guys.
It's a very big room for one car.
Come and have a look at our latest and I think our finest restoration. I think the end result is really spectacular. And please have a look.
Yeah.
And it is for sale. Everybody was just like, wow, beautiful, cool, love it, never seen one so good.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
We basically took the interior out, cleaned it, every single nut and bolt, re-plumped it up basically.
And re-dyed it.
Re-dyed it and put it back in.
I've been underneath it, I'd look underneath. It's pretty much perfect. They've nailed it.
Today we have had millionaires, rock stars and celebrities and the cognoscenti of the classic car world here, looking at this car, not one negative comment.
Because the 130 Coupe and the saloon are so rare on the UK roads, it's a pleasure to see one done to this standard.
Please, sit inside, see if you like it.
There's a look that somebody has when they have fallen for a car, and they just gravitate a little bit longer on certain things. They start to look in more detail on certain parts of the car. And there's one guy in particular that's standing out, and I know him, a guy called Terry, serious collector, seems to have a thing for our Fiat.
Terry, you have the look of that man, I've seen it many times before, that's fallen deeply in love.
Sadly, you're right.
It's hard not to, though, isn't it?
I've always liked these. They're so difficult to find.
You can tell everybody's starting to go away, but Terry's still there. So what does that tell you? I think he wants to have a chat about price.
So what do you think, Terry? What do you think of the rest, eh?
Extraordinary, I've got to say. For a start, the seals are very good because I have to slam the door, so we know that.
Yeah, we have replaced whatever we can.
Yeah.
Tyres, bushes, engines being detailed. I mean, you can see what we've done to it.
Yeah.
And the car's up at 42 grand, and at that figure, we're not making an enormous amount.
No, we're really not.
It's kind of a passion project, with a lot of love and not a huge amount of margin, but I would like to sell it today.
Okay, yeah. Give you 40 for it. I'd bid you 40 for it.
I think take
Yeah,
that.
I think that's
You'll
fair.
take that? You'll
Yeah,
take that.
that's fair.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Look after it.
I'm
sure you
I'll
will.
look after it.
First bid, best bid. Made 4 grand, clear, after absolutely everything. Winner. Done. Brilliant day.
Every time I look at it, it gets better, frankly. It's difficult to find one, let alone a good one. It's in perfect condition. I mean, there's absolutely no doubt about it.
This car, when I saw it, was on its last legs. I knew it was an absolute rot box, borderline scrap car. Seeing what it is now, seeing what the lads have done, and finding a new home for it, and a very good home at that, makes it all of it worth it. And we've saved another absolute classic.